All right, then. Let's get the show on the road. So, not long ago, I did the Raw Dog Reel full guide, posted up on YouTube. Spoke about how I was able to, in 1 week, get £11,000 cash collected using Raw Dog Reels. I talked about how to do them and everything else. And in there, I spoke briefly, very, very briefly and lightly, about how I am using a really simple ad strategy to basically supercharge the Raw Dog Reels that I'm doing and allow them to bring a huge amount of brand awareness, a huge amount of email list growth from people that already know who I am, and also automatic sales as well. And I had some questions about a little bit more detail about them. So I thought I'd just record another video, same way, going into the actual ad strategy. So here we are. And by the way, spoiler alert, it's kind of all there. So this is a little bit of a preview, but we're about to get into the slides and get this show on the road. Right, let me make sure we've got the right scene. Yes, we do. All right, the Raw Dog Reel, simple ad strategy. 15 minutes a week maintenance, get £3 leads. Pretty nice. So if you are already doing Raw Dog Reels, and by the way, if you're not, I'll put it somewhere so you can go and watch that last video so you can understand exactly how to do them. Super easy. But if you are, just £20 a day and 15 minutes of maintenance on these ads can make the efforts you're already doing really, really, really fly. And it's funny because this ad strategy is kind of close to the Raw Dog Reels in essence, which is like Raw Dog Reels, they're really, really effective, but they're also really easy. They're low maintenance, they're low production value, and they do really good. These Raw Dog Reel ads are pretty similar. Like you're already doing like 60% of the work just by doing the Raw Dog Reels that you're already doing. So with just 15 minutes of maintenance every single week, you can run this really easy once it's set up. It's really good because it's going to get you a huge amount of brand awareness and supercharges the organic reels as well, because the more people that watch you and then click on your profile and everything else, and you're going to get a lot, and you're going to see how we do this, the more that your organic reels are going to be popping up for these people as well. So all your reels going forwards are going to be better as well. It grows your email list on autopilot every single day, which is pretty nice, but by people that actually know who you are, which is even better, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. And it gets you automatic sales every single week. And the best part is you are already making the ad creatives every single day if you're doing Raw Dog Reels. So most of the work you're already doing. We just have to set the things up around it. So why the Raw Dog Reel indoctrination ads work? It uses the reels you're already doing. It gets your organic content seen by more people too, as we spoke about. It's maintained in 15 minutes a day on a Friday. So today's Friday for me, and I'm going to be doing what I'm about to show you today to just maintain it, and it takes me 15 minutes. And it's allowed me to be seen by over 500,000 people in 30 days while getting list growth and automatic sales. And I've only got 7,000 followers, but 633,000 people have viewed my stuff in the last 30 days, which is pretty good for brand awareness. So why is this better than other strategies, or why might you choose this over other strategies? So if you're doing, classic cool booking funnel where it's just cold or warm, and it's just boom, book a call, close them. There's no brand being built, and especially going into 2026 and beyond, AI, everything else, like I really truly believe that brand is going to win over everything else. And sometimes these cool booking funnels are only really working for people with the brands. Ads direct to cold. So whatever kind of ad it might be, you could just do it direct to cold audience. But the problem with this is you can actually get, especially if you create these ads, in the right way, with very, well, not in the right way, but in a certain way with very low friction and everything else, you can get really cheap leads, and it can look like, oh, this is going to be great. But the problem is you get disengaged leads, especially if you've created it in a low friction way. You're going to get lots of leads going onto your email list or doing whatever you're trying to make them do, but they're disengaged. They don't care about you afterwards. They've just kind of done it for whatever you've promised them to opt in for. A huge amount of bad fits and just worse performance overall. If everyone's going to cold, then you're competing against everyone as well. So CPMs, so the cost of actually getting this seen by 1,000 people is going to go up, and everything else. And the final one is profile visit ads, which isn't a bad choice if you're not willing to spend over £20 a day, or you haven't actually got a funnel. And we're going to talk about the funnel and everything else in this video. If you haven't got that, Instagram pretty much is going to be your funnel. So these are okay. But in reality, because you're just asking for Meta to look for profile visit ads, and that's a really good kind of like thing to understand, right? Whenever we're doing ads with Meta, Meta is really, really, really good at getting you exactly what you ask for. So if you ask, there's no such thing as follower ads. There is profile visit ads, right? If you ask for profile visits, it will go and find the people that are more likely to click profile visits or visit your profile, and they're the people that are visiting many other people's profile and stuff like that. And that's kind of how it figures it out. So often, because it's not very hard to get someone to click visit a profile, and there's probably some weirdos that just do it for everyone, often lower quality. And there's also just at this point no ownership, right? You don't own the contact. They've just potentially chosen to follow you, but you don't own that contact like it's on your email list. And also, we're paying to get them somewhere where you're not even guaranteed for them to see your content. You know, if you're paying to get them on an email list, you're much closer, not completely, but you're much closer guaranteed for them to actually see what you want to put out. When you're paying for them to follow you on Instagram, you don't own the contact. Your Instagram can be taken away, but also you're not even guaranteed that more than 20% of your followers are actually going to see anything that you post. And you can't even post everything. Like if you're asking for sales and stuff like this, or you're trying to drive people to other places, other platforms, your reach is going to get harmed even more. So there's no ownership of how you actually use the things that you're paying for. So anyway, after all of that, the raw dog real indoctrination ads that we're about to go through in this video, it is the best of everything, right? It allows you to build brand, whether they're following you or not, because right now we are in the post-follower era, meaning all the algorithms, right? You're watching this on YouTube. YouTube's the exact same. Instagram's the same. TikTok's the same. It doesn't really care too much about who you follow. Most of the people that are going to be popping up on your algorithm aren't who you follow, but it's who you watch and engage with, right? So all of these platforms are much more interested in what you're actually engaging with and watching to decide what to show you. So it builds brand in this post-follower era. It builds your email list with higher quality because it's only going to people that already know that you exist and have already watched you and already seen you in motion. And it also gets you direct sales, all with the same strategy, direct sales automatically as well. So pretty good. So in this video, we're going to go into it. Let's do it. So what you need for this to work. So there's three things that you need for this to work. Most of it we're going to go through in this video anyway. So don't worry if you don't have it. This might be the kick that you need to get it. So there's three things: a clear philosophy, indoctrination funnel, and a high converting acquisition offer. So let's start with the clear philosophy. So what I mean by philosophy is your way of doing things. What do you believe that not everyone else believes in your niche, in terms of getting results, or even how someone should live, operate, or anything else? You need a clear philosophy, and you need to be bringing this philosophy into your content and everything else. Initially, raw dog reels are only really going to work well if you have a clear philosophy or a position that you stand for. So a position that you stand for is a really good way to look at this, right? What do you stand for in the work that you do and everything else, right? A really good way to test this is if someone that knows your brand was going to introduce your brand to someone that didn't know your brand, how would they describe it? Oh, this is this guy. This is the raw dog reels guy, for example, or something like that, right? That can be your position. We need a philosophy. We need a position. Because indoctrination, this is all based on indoctrinating people, because once someone has bought into your ideas, and this is the part of marketing that no one understands, especially in coaching, right? In coaching, most people are thinking about, getting views and all this other stuff. And real marketing, right, is selling people on your unique ideas. So when they're bought in on your ideas, they now need to work with you, and they cannot work with anyone else because you are the person that they believe in, because you've psychologically sold them on your ideas. And that is indoctrination. And indoctrination begins with your raw dog reels. Same with the entire funnel. The entire funnel that we're going to be going through in this video should indoctrinate people into your way of thinking. If you haven't got that, it will not work. It'll just be another funnel in the sea of funnels and Instagram and Facebook and everything else. So we need something different. So then as they're going through the steps that I'm going to be showing you in this video, they are being sold on your way. So by the end of going through it, if they are an aligned client, Obviously, there's going to be some people it's not for, and that's perfectly fine. That's exactly what it should be. But if they are, they want to now work with you and no one else, which puts you in a very good spot. Next, we need an indoctrination funnel. This is a funnel designed specifically to sell people on your ideas. This is going to be covered in this video. And then you need a high converting acquisition offer, which is a short, easy to buy offer that gives people access to the ideas that you've sold them on. Again, it's covered in this video. So as we've taken them through the funnel and we're selling them on these ideas, they need to be given an offer that is aligned to that. And it's like, hey, you now believe this is what you need. Here it is. Come and buy it from me. That is your high converting acquisition offer. So how the raw dog reel indoctrination ads actually work. Let me see if I can like zoom out or anything in this. I can't zoom out. How am I going to show you this thing? Okay, here we are. All right, so this is how it works. We're just going to have a quick overview and then we're going to go into detail with things. Let me have a little drink. So we have pretty much 3 stages to this entire funnel. First of all, you've got your weekly raw dog reels. So you should be at this point already doing these anyway. If you're not, by the way, get on them. So this is an example of, let's say this person has done 5 raw dog reels this week. 2 of them might be good for their TOF campaign. TOF stands for top of funnel. So the top of the funnel, most of the people. BOF, by the way, stands for bottom of funnel, right? So the people at the bottom of the funnel, it's kind of less people there, just so you know. So you're doing these raw dog reels, and then let's say after a week and you've done 5, 2 of them are really going to be good for the top of funnel. Again, in this video, we're going to talk about what makes a good one and what makes a bad one. What we do is we take these and we put them into your top of funnel campaign, and we run these to everyone in the area that you want to go for. So for me, it's UK. I want everyone in the UK to know who I am. So then we put these in the top of funnel, and this goes and finds viewers, right? So that's what it's looking for. And then we take these viewers, people that have watched a certain amount of the videos that we're sending around, and already this is getting you people coming onto your profile as well, people engaging, people knowing who you are, people following and stuff like that. We take these viewers and then we take the bottom of funnel campaign, which is designed for something completely different, and we retarget all of these people that are seeing your video or your videos, your raw dog reels, whether they're organic or ads. We retarget them and we send them into a indoctrination funnel, which is going to indoctrinate them into your ideas. It's going to get them onto your email list. So you've got a constantly growing email list as well. And then it's going to make them an offer, and it's going to have an email sequence that continuously sells them that offer. So that's the overview of this whole thing. Today, in this video, we're going to go much deeper into all of that so you understand it and you can actually do this yourself. Let's keep going. So what we're about to cover, we've got 4 stages. Number 1, the raw dog reels, very, very lightly. Number 2 is the top of funnel ads. So you understand what it is, what to select, everything else, how to do it, how to think about it. Number 3 is the bottom of funnel ads and funnel. This is probably where we've got to spend most of our time, because this obviously needs to be good for it to work. And then we have maintenance and spend. How do you maintain this thing? How do you do the 15 minutes on a Friday? And what should you spend? And where should you put your money? So let's go. So the raw dog reels, we are not going deep into this. Like I said, go and watch the raw dog reel video if you want to go super deep into everything about how to think about this. We go deeper than anyone else on how to actually think about doing these reels. But really easy, post 5 to 10 or more raw dog reels per week on your Instagram. Real quick, if you don't know what it is, it's up to 3-minute videos, raw dog in it, just literally speaking. We have a bit of a framework if you want to use it. Most of the time I don't even use a framework and I just talk and posting it, and we're going for high volume because they are so easy. The only big thing to understand about this is everything should be talking about things through the lens of your philosophy. So if your big thing, right, let's just take something for an example, leverage. If your whole big idea, the big position you're taking is leverage, right? Let's say you're a business coach and you're talking about every single business should be built on leverage first, as an example. Then you don't necessarily just have to say leverage in every single reel, because you're not going to have much to talk about. But you comment on things through the lens of leverage. You see things, you see the world through this lens, and then you comment on it, talking about it like that. So that means that 5 coaches with their own unique positioning can comment on the exact same thing that happened in their life or world, and they will be able to see it from different angles and speak about it in a different way because they're seeing it through their lens. And then, of course, you need an optimized Instagram profile because people are going to be coming onto your Instagram. We want them to stick around. What we really want it to happen is they like that one and they come on and then they go through and they watch more reels, right? Because then they are now part of your organic kind of like retargeting audience that's just going to naturally happen anyway because they've watched 3 or 4 of your reels. Maybe they've liked a few. Now you're going to start showing up to them every time that you're posting reels. Pretty much super bird's eye view kind of thing of how that goes. So clear bios so people know what you're about, and well thought out pin posts so people know what you're about. Nice and easy, right? That's stage 1. Easy, done. Stage 2, the top of funnel ads. Here we go. Now let's get a bit locked in. So we run through play ads, right? That is the objective that we're going for. This means that Meta, the all-knowing Meta, will search for people who are most likely to watch at least 15 seconds of your video, right? So someone who like a through play is someone has watched over 15 seconds of this video. That's what it means, right? So as you set up the campaign, you are going to set up a campaign. You're going to click engagement. And then as you go through, I think it's to the ad set from memory, you're going to choose like what kind of engagement, what's the objective, and you're going to choose through play. Remember, again, this is super important. Meta is so good at giving you what you want. So if you click on any of the other objectives, it starts to completely change everything. Like, for example, if you're just trying to get someone to opt in to a lead magnet, but you accidentally click that you want traffic, it will give you so much traffic, so many people clicking, but so little leads because there are different people. It knows there are people that are just going to click something. There are people that are going to opt in, blah, 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 blah. So we have to be very specific. The reason why through play is a good idea is because we want brand awareness. We don't even just want someone, oh, nice, clicking on the profile. We don't want that. We want someone to actually consume your ideas, consume your vibe, have a feel for you, right? So we want it to find people who are actually going to spend time watching your video. In terms of targeting, target the countries you want. I like the idea of honing in on one country so we can dominate the country. In there, have a handful of relevant interests. So most of the time, you don't really need interests anymore, generally, when it comes to ads, because Meta is so good, again, at finding you what you want. The problem with through play ads is with it still being quite a low intent signal of just watching a 15 seconds of a video, right? We want to give it a bit of a helping hand because otherwise it can fall into the wrong pockets where it is getting 15-second plays, but from the wrong people. So give it just a couple relevant interests. There's nothing special. There's no magic interest. This is just to give Meta a little helping hand. Go and have a look at those people. And then you may need to do this. I needed to do this. Exclude countries if you see them sneaking through. You know what I'm talking about. If there's people that are sneaking through from countries that probably aren't going to buy from your service, you're going to have to exclude them. Placements. So if you're primarily on Instagram and you don't really use Facebook, it makes sense as you go into placements to just turn off Facebook so they're only going on Instagram. When I didn't do this, all the spend was going on Facebook. I don't know if this will happen for you, but all the spend was going on Facebook, and that made no sense because I'm over on Instagram, so I had to turn it off. In terms of the ads itself, every week add your latest raw dog reel that are signal to your ideal clients and completely boring to anyone else. This is important, right? Because I made this mistake when I first did this. I put up a load of reels that I'd already done, right? And I put up some that I thought these are going to be really good because they were kind of like they were quite cinematic. They were before I was even doing raw dog reels, or these were recorded and uploaded then. And they were kind of cinematic and quite like motivational, and they were really cool. They had cool music behind it. And most of the time when you're doing this top of funnel stuff, like 1 or 2 of the ads are just going to take all of the spend. And that's okay. It doesn't really matter because it's doing exactly what we want it to do, which is getting us through plays. So it doesn't matter. We don't need a huge amount of variety in terms of where the spend's going because we're just trying to find people that are going to watch the video, right? And we're going to talk about how to manage all of that in a second. But what had happened was because I'd put up this kind of like broadly entertaining reel, it was getting all of the spend, but it was getting the wrong people watching because it was too it was too enjoyable to everyone. So this is really important. This wants to be signal to your ideal client, but it actually wants to be completely boring to anyone else. This means that, you know, the classic kind of thought process of, oh, just like use your organic content that gets the most engagement might not be the best move, because sometimes they're the ones that are actually more broadly enjoyable. So the higher engagement reels might not be the ones you choose, unless of course all of that engagement is from aligned ideal clients or potential ideal clients. And then as you're doing the ads, you go through and then you click use existing post. So you don't have to take the file and do it. You can actually choose use existing post. And then you can literally go onto Instagram and select the reels from there. If this matters to you, it also, like, you know, that means that the reels, that all of the comments and the likes and the views are all going to be on your organic posts, which is nice to keep it all in one place, you know, especially if one already has some stuff going for it, maybe some comments on there or anything else. So then, you know, big question, why Throughplay? Right, that's how you set this up. This is the top of funnel. This is going to get us awareness. This is going to get people seeing our stuff, and this is just going to be dominating wherever you want it to be. So you're constantly being seen by hundreds and thousands of people. So why Throughplay? It gives us very cheap awareness with people who will actually watch us and are most likely to be high quality. Because here's the thing, CPM stands for cost per milli or cost per mil, something like that, which is basically your cost per 1,000 impressions. This is a metric on meta ads, right? So the CPM for this for me is £2. £2 is really cheap, because, and it's because we're keeping people on the platform. If you know, even my CPMs on some things where I'm taking people off the platform before I was doing this would be maybe £30, maybe £40. Even on the one that's retargeting that I'm going to go to, it's still £20, right? So this gives you really, really cheap like reach, like cheap ads, basically, much more for each pound compared to other things initially. And then the Throughplay, so how much am I paying? And this will be the same for you, it's not hard to get. How much am I paying to get someone, a new person, to watch 15 seconds? 1p, 1 penny. That means for every pound that I spend, 100 new people know me in the UK. That's not bad at all, especially with what's going to come up and what we're going to retarget them with. And what I really love about this is it gives you double duty content, which means your organic content that you're already doing becomes ads, and your ads means that your organic works better and knows more people to go to. So it works pretty well. So this is the top of funnel. That's very, very easy to set up. If you've been doing raw dog reels, you've got everything that you need. Next, bottom of funnel. Let me have a little drink. So, top of funnel still. This constantly builds the Throughplay audience. This is the important bit. This is why the top of funnel is important. So if you were only doing the top of funnel and there was no bottom of funnel, it would be okay. It would be okay. You're going to get people seeing your stuff. You're going to be building more awareness of your brand, but you're not actually taking it anywhere. So it wouldn't do so much. So that's why the bottom of funnel is going to be really, really important. But the reason why this is important in this system is because of this. It's constantly building your Throughplay audience of people who know you, right? So for me, there's everyone in the UK, a handful of those people every single 90 days. And I think every single 90 days, it's about 100,000 are going to become a Throughplay person, right? Because they've watched at least 15 seconds. So then I get a nice little tight audience, right, down here of people to retarget to and send to my actual funnel, right down here, because these are people that have actually watched me. Now, they are going to be much warmer and much more likely to do anything that I want them to do, because they already know who I am and that I exist, and they've seen me talking. And even if they may not have even liked me, there is a reality, right, that familiarity makes someone trust you more, right? If you've seen someone around a lot, you are naturally going to trust them more, especially, you know, online. You're going to naturally think, okay, this person knows what he's talking about. I've seen him I've seen him everywhere. He must be doing really well. He's probably someone worth listening to, right? So this is also really interesting when it comes to the actual ads where we're trying to make someone actually do something, because number one, right, down here, we're going to have a funnel. I'm about to run you through it, and we're going to be trying to get people to opt in, easy, and then also buy something. Not so easy, but it happens, right? The best way to make a funnel perform better is definitely not the colors, it's not the ads, it's not the offer. Offer would be up there though, but it's who's going through it, right? If people are going through it who already know, like, and trust you, and they're going through the funnel is going to perform a lot better, right? So number one, we're getting people that are already slightly familiar with us going through the funnel, which instantly makes making the funnel work 10 times easier. Second thing is, if we skip this part and we just do bottom of funnel to cold, let's say everyone in the UK, first of all, you're getting people that are disengaged a lot of the time. They might opt in because they're curious, but then I've seen this from experience. They opt in because they're curious, but they can fill up your email list, but they're not very engaged. Nothing really changes, even if your email list is growing. But you're also then competing with everyone else, right? Which means your CPMs, how much these ads are actually costing, are going to go up, and everything else. So when you're doing your bottom of funnel ads to your own little cute little kingdom of people that have watched videos, you've got your own little space to advertise, which means, and you're constantly building more, which means not only does everything work better, but your ads, your CPMs are actually going to be cheaper, because not everyone's necessarily, marketing and paying for advertisement in this little space. So then we get to the bottom of funnel ads. This is where it gets sexy. So the retarget audience. So you're going to go and create bottom of funnel ads that are trying to get people to opt in. I forgot to go into detail on this side, but you're pretty much trying to get people to opt in. So they're becoming leads, right? They're opting in. That's the conversion objective that we're going for. You're going to send them to your landing page, which we're going to look at in a second. And the most important part is when you're setting up this audience, you are going to create a custom audience to retarget to. And you're going to look at these two, you're going to send it to these two places, right? First of all, select the right countries. So here, you do not need to have, like in my case, it's just UK for the top of funnel. You don't have to have that here, because if there's people that aren't from, let's just say, the UK that are following you, you still want them people to see this as well. So select the right countries, or just keep that blank, and just make sure to exclude the countries that you don't want this to be going to, because that can give you a lot of leads and stuff, because they're pretty active. You can start paying and it's just going to these kinds of countries that you don't want. So select or exclude the right countries, and then you're going to set the audience as and you do all of this, by the way, in custom audiences to your Instagram followers. You can put Instagram engagers on there as well. And then the most important is your through play last 90 days, right? So in Meta, you're going to be able to go custom audiences. You're going to be able to create a custom audience, and you're going to be able to click through play and set it as last 90 days. So then all of those people, this big pool of people, or the small pool of people down here, you're going to actually tag them, and then you're able to go straight back to them with other ads, right? I do 90 days because it can fill up quite quickly. I want it to refresh quite a lot. So I've done 90 days so I can focus on the people that have most recently seen me. And yeah, we target those as well. But this is important. As you're doing this, you can't just click through play, last 90 days, boom, it's ready. Annoyingly, you need to click all of the reels that you want to be part of the custom audience. This is annoying, but it's also useful, because if you've had a reel that's just like gone completely viral to the wrong place, you're not going to want that to be part of it. So once you've set this up, you will find the place where you got to decide on what reels. Just go back through, for now, just go back through to all of your organic reels. By the way, it doesn't matter if they're organic or they're things you're going to use for ads. You may as well do the organic ones as well. Go through and just start clicking all of the ones that if anyone's watched over 15 seconds of this, they're going to see the video. That's what you want, right? Go back and click through. And it's very important as well that you remember to go back to this custom audience every Friday in your 15-minute maintenance and do it again. But we'll talk about that in a second. Now, these bottom of funnel ads that we're about to go through will only be going to people who are familiar with you. That is so useful for the performance of the ads, the funnel, and everything else, because now it's only people that are familiar with you going through. Everything's going to perform better, but also you're getting your email list filled with people that are already familiar with you as well. And I see it like this. I know this sounds weird, but I see it as cool. I'm doing my raw dog reels, I'm doing my emails every single day, I'm doing all of these things. And then this bottom of funnel kind of ad strategy is kind of like a little UFO flying around my my Instagram and Instagram in general, and just kind of like abducting people up into the UFO that want to go deeper into my funnel. So I don't actually need to think too much about much else. I can just be there, be the brand, and then I've got a little campaign flying around selling people. So let's actually look at the indoctrination funnel flow. So this is where to point the ads, of course, because obviously when we're doing something where we're trying to get a conversion as a lead, we need to point it to a landing page. So here's step one. You're going to have a pain aware hook and opt-in, right? Obviously you're going to have a VSL. So I'm going to explain that as well. So behind here is the VSL, but the first page they're going to see is a pain aware hook and opt-in. We're going to understand what pain aware, problem aware, solution aware, and stuff like that is in a second. But all you need to know is pain aware is the lowest level of sophistication for your people that you're trying to go for. So they don't need to know all of the ins and outs of everything to understand the hook, the title that you've given this this asset that they're going to get. So this is what mine looks like. Free training for ambitious coaches and creators. The 4-week protocol to go from feeling invisible to your audience to being the only choice and getting inbound leads every single week. So the pain aware part here is feeling invisible to your audience. Now, I could have said the 4-week protocol to become a market of one brand, but that wouldn't be pain aware. That would actually be solution aware, because I take them through a journey here. So by the end of the training, they understand that they need to become a market of one brand. But if you went for that in the hook, that would be solution aware. That would be a higher level of sophistication. There'd be less people that would actually click that. And the VSL, the reason we call it the indoctrination VSL is it is engineered to take them through that levels of awareness. So we want the widest net possible with a pain aware hook. And then here, super simple. The congruence is super important when it comes to any funnel. So we don't want to get this. We don't want to have this is the opt-ins here are really, really good. They cost me £3. The rate is really, really good. We don't want too much. The more you have, the more people, the more it's got chance to be incongruent, right? They click there and they can opt in. Once they're through, they have the VSL, which stands for video sales letter, and the application. So it says step one, watch the visibility protocol. For me, this is 30 minutes because I can never keep things short, as you can see from this video probably. And this takes them through the levels of awareness and indoctrinates them and sells them on my ideas. I'm going to go into that in detail in the next slide, but all you need to know is it takes them to a VSL that help the biggest value in the VSL, because you're positioning it as valuable, and it is valuable, but the biggest value in it is not necessarily like tips, tricks, and everything else. It's diagnosis. The biggest value of this is you are going to help them diagnose the real problem that's keeping them in their pain. And then you're going to make them the offer in the VSL, and then you're going to tell them to click the button. Here, there is a second opt-in, right? So then here they click this, and then there's another opt-in to then be able to see the offer. The reason why there's a second opt-in is because now we can have 2 email sequences, one for opt-ins and one for actual applicants. And then in here, we can ask for some sort of contact detail. For me, I've got their Instagram handle. So then you don't want to message every single person, right? Because you'd be messaging way too many and you'd be spending your time in the complete wrong place. But let's say you get 100 people all the way through, and then, or 100 people opting in, and then 10 people going here. Those 10 people you want to speak to, right? So we want to actually, we don't want everyone to see the offer. We want the actual people that are higher intent to see it. So then they can actually self-sort themselves, and then you can see the ones that are worth actually going to speak to, and then you can go and speak to them, because we do, a lot of the time, conversions are through conversations. So if we've got a way to identify the higher intent people, we do want to go and speak to them. And then once they apply, they get the offer document straight away. They've got all of the details there. They have the email sales sequence with conditional urgency, which we'll go through, and then personal contact. So personally, I will go and drop them a message and have a chat with them and see if they're a good fit. So then the indoctrination VSL flow, this is really important. So the indoctrination VSL is engineered to move prospects up the levels of awareness and sell them on your ideas, right? This is why having unique ideas is essential for this. Otherwise, just generally in coaching, if you don't have like unique ideas and you're just a general generic coach, you can't market properly because you haven't got anything to psychologically sell people on. So it's essential for this, and generally to build a great coaching business. Otherwise, you've got nothing to say. I've said all this already. Once they're sold on your philosophy and your way and your ideas, they do not want to buy from anyone else. And that is where we want to get people. That's when you have leverage in the sale and how you want to deliver, how you want to sell it, what you want to charge, and everything else. So here is the simple structure, right? And this is really, really important to understand when it comes to marketing in general, right? We have pain aware. Most people will call this unaware, but I prefer to call it pain aware because there's no point really selling to someone that's not in pain. Pain aware, problem aware, solution aware, product aware. We're going to spend some time here because this is really important. And also you understanding this is going to change everything how you think about everything. So generally in any market, there is going to be basically 100% of your total addressable market pain aware. If they're not pain aware, there's no point fucking talking to them, right? So you've got 100% of your total addressable market here in pain aware. And then there's less people that are problem aware, so that they are actually aware of what problem is causing the pain. And there's way less people who are solution aware, and then way, way, way less people that are product aware, right? So the problem that we can often make when we're marketing is it's very easy to do this as well, to only market to the solution aware people, only market or even make offers to the solution aware people, right? But that's what most people do. But it's such a tiny amount of the market that you're going to have a hard time getting enough sales. But the good thing about people that are higher up on the ladder is they are way closer to buy. And we need to understand that. If someone's pain aware, it can only take a second to bring them to the next level, of course, but generally these people are going to take longer to buy. These people are going to be quicker to buy. So these people can be good to market to because they're quicker to buy and they're the ones who you want to find. But you want to also make sure that your marketing strategy in general can actually take people that are pain aware and sell them on your ideas as they go up. And this is also a really important model because this is how you beat your competitors, right? This is how you actually turn someone in the same market that make them want to work with you and not the person next to you. Here's why. Because let's say I work with coaches who want to build their business, which I do, right? So the pain aware market that I'm going for, the pain is, in super general terms, online coach of any niche whose business is not growing the way that they want. That's the pain, right? The art of indoctrination starts to come in up here. So once there's this, we've established the pain, I know, because of my beliefs and my philosophies, I know that the problem that I'm psychologically selling people on, which I truly believe is the case, is the real problem that your business isn't growing is because you haven't differentiated yourself. You look the exact same as everyone else. This is the problem. The problem isn't ads yet. The problem isn't that you're not a good enough coach. The problem is none of these other things. The problem is you look the exact same as everyone else. So the solution is, we're going to work together to turn you into a signal brand. This is the solution that I've coined, right? So you stand out from the market, blah, 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 product, come and buy my thing. That's the indoctrination level, layers that I take someone up. Someone else, my competitor, might be an ad specialist. He goes for the exact same market, the exact same pain, but he is saying, your business isn't growing the way that you want because you haven't got a proper ad strategy and you're never going to grow organically consistently. The solution is to do this specific ad funnel that I've created. This is the way that it works. Product is that. So then at any one time, right, you and all your competitors are all fighting for the same pain aware market, and you're all fighting to sell them on your diagnosis of the problem, your prescription of the solution, and your product, of course. As someone comes up my ladder, right, the ad person on the other side, they're going down their ladder. They don't want to buy from that person anymore. They now want to buy from mine. So understand this and understand that most people do not understand this. They don't know about it and they don't think about this. So when you do, it is a superpower when it comes to marketing. And the reason why it really, really helps to actually put people up this is, I'm going to explain the whole thing now. I may have done this wrong around, but stay with me. So every time we take someone up the stairs of your indoctrination ladder, they are way closer to buying from you. Here's why, right? Let's say that I was pain aware, my shoulder hurt, right? That makes me pain aware. My shoulder hurts. Okay. So then I'm like, why is my shoulder hurting today? I'm not sure. Let me go to the doctor. I go to the doctor and the doctor says, you've got a rotator cuff injury. Now I am problem aware. What's happened to my buying behavior is if I was to buy a solution for my shoulder, We're getting the hands out. If I was going to buy a solution to my shoulder pain while I was pain aware, I don't even know the problem. So all of the potential options are this wide, right? There's all these potential options all fitting into this field of view. I'm going to be overwhelmed. I don't know what to pay, where to put my money, right? So what do? I'm going to think it. I'm going to say, I need to think about it. I'm not sure. I'm going to be overwhelmed. I'm not going to take action. As soon as I'm problem aware, oh, it's my rotator cuff, the field of view of potential options shrinks. Now I'm like, okay, now I get it. I've got a rotator cuff injury. I need to solve that. Now I'm a little bit more ready to purchase something. But then he says, look, don't just go to any physio. Go to a physio that specifically, or don't go to a chiropractor, blah, blah, blah. Go to a physio that specifically helps with rotator cuff injuries. Now I'm solution aware. I know what solution I need. Now my field of view is this small. Now I know where I need to go. Now I just need to select the right product within this small field of view. Right? This is what your marketing should do to your people all of the time. So basically, what I'm saying is your VSL structure, that's just like huge marketing understanding that you must understand if you want to make this work, right? But then when it comes to your VSL structure, you take them through this. You talk about the pain, you talk about all of the things that they've tried, all of the things that they think it would have been, and then you say, look, the real problem is this. And then you say, the only solution to this is this solution. And then you show them your product. That is the structure of the VSL. Obviously, for clients, they get full script. They understand everything that they need to say. Within this, there's stories. There is a discovery story there somewhere and everything else. But this is all you need to know to kind of get it going. And I'll give you an example, right, for a fitness coach. So if you're a fitness coach working with older men, right, here is an example of taking them through this. So the pain might be men in their 40s that feel too fat and out of shape. Okay. We need to sell them psychologically on why they're too fat and out of shape. So we say, look, you're training, imagine this in the VSL, you're training like you're still in your 20s and you're listening to these 20-year-old Instagram influencers that have no responsibilities, blah, 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 blah. But here's the reality, 40-year-old man, your hormone profile has changed. Your testosterone is lower and it is holding you back. This is the reason why everything that you've tried up until now has not worked. And you're training harder, you're dieting harder, and you're still not losing weight. Quick one, can you see how this creates hope? Hope is the most important thing that we need to give people if they're going to buy from you. They need to hope that this is going to work, because the people that are going to spend the most are going to be the ones that have actually been in this pain for the longest, but they are also going to be the most skeptical because they've tried so many times. So when we come across with a new opportunity for them, it gives them hope. They start to realize, I can see where I've been going wrong all of this time. I can see the real problem. So then we say solution. Instead of longer training sessions and stricter diets, you need a men's testosterone specialist to create your specific lifestyle, training, and nutrition routine to improve your testosterone. And then we take them to product. I do exactly this in my 90-day testosterone blueprint program. Show some social proof, blah, 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 blah. I actually had a client that did exactly this. He went from women to men, and he built this offer to 10K in about 5 months. So does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. I know I went like kind of off track here, but this is probably the most useful thing in this whole entire video. Then we get to the acquisition offer. So if you remember, let's just remind ourselves, they go through here. That was the video that we just went through. They watch all of that. They apply once they've watched it, or sometimes they're just going to do it before anyway. They apply. Now they get the offer document. This is the acquisition offer. So what's an acquisition offer? So basically, when I work with clients, we create something called the multi-tier offer stack, where we start with a core offer, then we have an acquisition offer where it's really, really easy to sell, and then it's easy to then upsell them onto the core offer. And then we have sometimes a micro offer before that as well. Anyway, the acquisition offer lives in the middle there. In this case, it's right at the front. Acquisition offers are short, up to 12 weeks, process-oriented offers with a very, very clear outcome. This is big, right? It's not a program where come and join and we'll see what happens. It's a process. This is exactly what's going to happen. This is exactly what we're going to install. This is exactly what we're going to achieve. And this is exactly how we do it. Promise and process. You can point to exactly what gets done and what outcome they finish with. These are easier to sell and actually easier to deliver as well because it's such a straight line. Then you can drive them into your core offer, higher tier, lower tier, whatever else. When you're creating this, you want to think about more agency than coaching, as weird as that sounds, right? So it's not just, coaching, let's see what happens, let's see how long we need to go for. It's almost like agency mode. It's like, we're going to do this thing, we're going to install this thing together, we're going to make this thing happen. Something just gets done. the way that you think about what you want to do here is, first of all, throughout this entire funnel, what idea have you been selling them on, right? If I've been selling someone on the idea of differentiating themselves the entire time, but then the offer that I make them is about ads, it makes no sense. So what idea have you been selling them on through the whole entire funnel, all the way up from your organic content? And what do they believe they need before joining the program, right? This is big. Let's just touch on this for a second, right? So often you will have, let's say you got like a 6-month client journey, and the first month you do something. So often people think they need that thing before they actually get into it. In fitness, it might be like, oh, I just need to kind of get back into the routine before I sign up with someone so I can trust myself to do it. In my case, once it was that someone, when I was helping 9-to-5ers get out of their job, I don't do this anymore, but out of their job and build a coaching business, they needed to know what their business they were going to build before. So I would have been very smart to create a acquisition offer that's really easy to buy, to help them have that idea first before selling them on to the bigger thing, because they actually needed that anyway. Another client of mine, he had this program where it was helping leaders turn their 10x vision into reality. He launched it. Guess what? The only people that signed up were the ones that already knew what their 10x vision was, even though that was the first whole month of the program. So we created an acquisition offer where they was able to find out that before anything else, and he was able to sell a lot of them. So to sell this frequently, you must constantly give context to the exact thing that they build or work on in this program, right? So of course, in this funnel, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about this mechanism that you're going to help them install or use or work on in this offer. So it might be, we're going to install the personalized performance system if that's what the VSL was talking about. It might be the internal operating system, the daily email engine, the leveraged engine, the Hunter OS, whatever it may be. These are just some examples of me and clients. So we create the acquisition offer, right? Let's say it's an 8-week thing. Generally, by the way, with my clients, we get this working organically first, and then we start to create a VSL to sell it, and then we can start to run ads to it. But we create an acquisition offer that sells easy on the front end. Remember, it's designed for acquisition, and then it upsells these people as well. And then once they've gone through there, because most people aren't going to buy straight away, if they've just opted in and they haven't applied, there's a conversational email flow, still selling them on the ideas, a little bit of social proof sprinkled in, and driving them to opt in to get the offer. So driving them back to the VSL to hopefully make them watch the VSL if they haven't already and apply. And then this is why we have 2 opt-ins. And then if they've applied, there's a tight 5-day email sequence. Mine is 9 emails over 5 days with clear proof, with clear urgency of why they need to move now, and a clear endpoint. That's quite important, by the way, because we want to know when is the deadline for them to move on this or not, so then we can actually understand the maths of what's going on with the funnel. And then finally, long-term email flow. If you want, you can then, for all the applicants, you can create over the next 6 months, over the next year, you can sporadically open and close the same program sporadically. So then constantly you're going to be making new offers or offers to the people that have already shown interest, because sometimes it's just a timing thing. So then if you've got every 4 weeks, it opens and closes again, opens and closes, you might be getting a few cheeky little sales coming through all of the time. So this is the email flow. And finally, the outcome, right? So after these bottom of funnel ads, people who know of you are going to be entering your email list every single day. People who know of you are being sold on your ideas every single day, especially if you're already doing the raw dog reels. You're then being able to give them a deeper insight into your philosophies with this, and they're going to be seeing that flying around, trying to abduct them as an ad, right? People are going to then be applying for details on your acquisition offer, and then you're able to start a conversation with them and talk to them. And finally, because the audience is constantly updating and refreshing, because it's only 90 days, right? And it's constantly adding more people, it's constantly adding, well, it depends on how much you spend, but 1p for 1p add someone. So if you spend £10, it's like, I don't know the maths. I'm not even going to try. Would have been really easy maths, I know. But it's constantly updating. So you don't actually need to change your bottom of funnel creatives as much, because it's changing who's seeing them, which is just as good. You will have to eventually, but not so much, which makes this even easier. All in line with the raw dog philosophy. Finally, managing and budget, the boring stuff. So first of all, this can all be managed in 15-minute Friday routine, right? So you can add on, well, let me talk about this in what I do, right? Friday, Sit on my computer, and this is what I do. It takes me 15 minutes or less. I go on and I add my latest Raw Dog Reels to the top of funnel ad set that are highly specific. So I have a look through my latest Reels, and I think what are the ones that are going to be signal to my ideal audience and really boring to anyone else, and I add them in. And then I look at what's getting spent, because most of the time, even if you've got a lot of ads in here, probably one or two are pretty much just getting all of the spend for that week. And that's okay. Doesn't really matter, because we're just trying to find people that are going to watch and, through play. So as long as it's a good video, it's all good. That doesn't matter. We're just giving it more variety to choose from. But what you do want to do is you want to make sure that they're going to the right audience. So what's probably going to happen, and you need to be prepared for this, right, is every now and then, one of the videos is getting a lot of spend, because remember, a lot of people are going to see these videos. Every now and then, one of the videos is going to find its way into the wrong audience. Brokies, negative people that hate anyone making money and talking and selling anything, right? And what's going to happen is you're going to start getting lots of negative comments, and everyone's going to tell you you're balding. Everyone's going to call you unk. Everyone's going to make you cry. Everyone's going to be mean to you. And you're going to turn them off. You're not going to turn them off because they're getting to you. Promise, they're not getting to me. You turn them off because now it's getting engagement in this pocket of the world, these negative idiots. It's going to keep going to those people, because that's actually where it's going to be getting its cheapest through play. And remember, Meta is going to send it to wherever it's getting exactly what you asked for, which is through play. So turn those ones off and let it find a new one. And hopefully these people are nicer to me. And then add all of last week's reels into the through play custom audience. Remember that the custom audience doesn't automatically use the newer videos. So go back to the custom audience, all of last week's reels, click them on so they count as the through play custom audience. Budget, general rule of thumb, 60% spent goes on, let me say that again. General rule of thumb. So obviously you've got 100% of what you're going to spend. 60% goes on top of funnel to keep refreshing new audience. Because remember, the best way to improve the funnel performance is who goes through it. We don't need millions of people going through the emails to the funnel. We need the right people. So 60% of your spend is going to go, roughly, is going to go on top of funnel to keep refreshing new audience. And then 40% spend goes on bottom of funnel to turn those new audience into leads and clients. Why? Like I said, best way to improve performance is who goes through it. This is why you should spend at least £20 a day on this, because if you are doing £10 a day and you're doing like £66 a day on top of funnel, which wouldn't be bad because you'd get a lot for that, but then £4 a day on bottom of funnel, you might be getting like one lead a day. It's going to take a long time. So you're better off, doing this when you're willing to spend £20 a day. And then tracking, here's a little hack. Export the ad data. Go into Meta, export the ad data, find the right things, upload it into Claude Cowork to update your tracking sheet. And the things you're going to look for when you're tracking is going to be what's the cost per, how much are you spending, obviously, is going to be put in there. And then what's the cost per outbound click, which means not just cost per click, but the cost per click that took someone off of Facebook or Instagram or wherever else. What's the cost per opt-in? What's the opt-in percentage of the people that click? What's the application percentage of the people that opt in? And what is the conversion percentage of the people that apply? They are the numbers that we look at. When we look at those numbers, all of these numbers, we can start to see where is the bottleneck in the process, right? Maybe you're getting loads of clicks, cheap clicks, but no one's opting in. Something's wrong there. Maybe you're getting loads of opt-ins, but no one's applying. Then there's something wrong with your VSL probably, and the offer, and then probably also the emails that they're getting. And then if there's loads of people applying, no one's buying, obviously there's something wrong with your sales process. So maybe what you're saying to them or the offer in general. When your cost per opt-in, so your cost per lead begins to rise, refresh the bottom of funnel ads to get some more going. So guys, that's it. That is the Raw Dog Reel simple ad strategy.